There's one on the Ned. Seems like a pretty decent one. We found this school and caught a few off it on some different baits, and they had slowed down a little bit, so we put on a Ned rig, just a little bit bigger version of a Ned. I'll show you guys here in a sec, hopefully. Picked up a decent chunk. It's a good largemouth. And look at how healthy that fish is. A little bit beefier style Ned on a little bit higher pressured school. Good chunk, maybe 3.5, 4. Get it back. We just got a 1/4 ounce. It's a VMC Ned head. And the bigger style TRD, I believe that's a 4-inch. So a little bit beefier Ned than you'd throw for, you know, typically we're fishing Neds for smallmouth a lot of times, and you're throwing, you know, an 1/8 or 3/32 ounce head, and you know, the finesse TRD. This is the full size big TRD, 1/4 ounce head. We're fishing in, you know, 18 to 16 foot of water, so that 1/4 ounce is going to get down a lot better. We can crawl it along the bottom. You can't be moving this bait too fast. You got to let it hit bottom, give it a second or two for that worm to float up, and a lot of times that's when your bites are going to come. So we make a long cast, let it get down, almost dead stick it for a little bit, and then ease it back with really slow hops. You can drag it if you wanted to, depending on the day. Let those fish kind of tell you what they want. You know, my setup is, you know, pretty standard spinning rod setup. This is a 7-foot medium fast St. Croix. Any 7 to 7.2, 7.3 fast action rod. You know, you want a sensitive rod when you're doing this. You want to really be able to feel that bait. You're working it slow across the rock, and those bites usually aren't super aggressive. You'll pick up on them and they'll be there, or you might feel the slightest little bit of tick. And then I'm using, this is 10-pound braid, a high-vis braid, to an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. And depending on the water clarity and the structure that you're fishing around, you could probably get away with a 10 or a 12-pound leader. And it's a lot like fishing a shaky head, except for we've got an exposed hook on that Ned. It's a bigger style Ned, but it still has the same characteristics that we all like when we're throwing a Ned rig. You got the floating plastic, the exposed hook, and just a really simple presentation. You know, bass bite worms all over the country, but the beauty with that Ned is it floats some and gives it a different look than your typical, you know, Texas rig if you're dragging it down there, for example. We got a lot of activity around. We got a lot of bluegills, a lot of minnows. We can see it on our live right now. There's fish and activity all over this area, and we're not necessarily picking off individual fish with live, but we're definitely using it. We're not really casting at one particular area. We're moseying back and forth, trying to find that sweet spot of maybe that group moved a little bit. They'll shift around on these offshore areas a lot. Another little one on the Ned. Decent chunk. 1/4 ounce Ned in the roof. Not a huge one, but a fun size. Just out here on this rock again. We shifted down just a little bit. Picking up more of a finesse presentation can definitely help mop up a few more bites for you if you know you're in an area with a good concentration of fish.